Out there, we're dealing with flooding, we're dealing with mudslides, roadways closed,
Yep.
winds, even thunderstorms in areas.
Exactly. So we still have the heavy downpours, so the soil is going to get more and more saturated, which will increase the likelihood of mudsliding and down trees and power lines. With strong gusty winds, gusting over 50 miles per hour at times, and we just got, as you mentioned, word from the National Weather Service of a thunderstorm warning for a small portion of the coastline of Marin County and some of the hills and mountains of Marin. We've had unstable conditions in the atmosphere for the last hour or so as this cold front is beginning to sweep in, and so there's enough instability right now, Karina, that we could see a thunderstorm or two around the area. But it's only over in the next hour or so that we expect that possibility.
Okay, Spencer, let's take a look at some of the video that we've gotten into the newsroom. We've seen a lot happening out there, and we have crews all across the Bay Area covering the conditions. So you can see here, this is Highway 1, Point Reyes, and this is where you're going to be dealing with a road closure. As you can see, it is covered with water. This is what it looks like in parts of San Francisco. Some of those storm drains, they're clogged. They're working on getting them cleared out, but you might run into instances like this in the city.
Right, or just about anywhere around the area, but especially in an urban area like San Francisco.
And one more I want to show you here, and this is in Santa Rosa. You can see this boulder came down. In addition to that, we have video just in, and we'll show it later on in our newscast from Forestville. There's a mudslide there, possible evacuations. And just a heads up for anyone that's planning to go to SFO, your flight might be delayed, probably delayed. Check your flight status if you're flying out, as well as the status of the Golden Gate ferry service. They are running at a limited service right now. So just something to check on, keep it in mind. And Spencer, I know you're tracking the conditions right now. Let's take a look at your graphics.
Sure, okay. Well, we'll start with the satellite radar image, Karina. You can see that stationary front, which extends out of that low pressure system, that's been sort of hovering over the Bay Area the first half of the day for hours and hours. It's going to show some movement, though, as that low pressure system starts to move along the front. It's going to push inland over the next few hours and drag that cold front, which is reaching southward out of the low, drag that cold front into the Bay Area, which will destabilize the atmosphere. That's happening already, which is why we have this thunderstorm alert in effect. And behind that front will not only will come some very cold air for the overnight hours, but the main thing we're concerned about is how much more intense the storm will be once that low starts to move inland. So we're looking at a level 3, strong level 3 storm on the exclusive ABC7 storm impact scale until about 7 p.m. Heavy rainfall, flooding, of course, happening already, is likely to continue. Thunderstorm chance, strong winds, down trees and power lines are a possibility. Saturated soil, we could see mudsliding and rock sliding and all those things that come with the saturated soil conditions. So here's the forecast animation. Notice how the areas of the darker colors of orange and red indicate the most intense storm activity. The most intense activity will be concentrated right through the central part of the Bay Area between now and about 4 or 5 p.m., which means the evening commute is going to be a messy one, a treacherous one. So if you're out there driving or you know people who are, just exercise caution. And then after about 7 p.m., we'll see the most intense elements of the storm moving out of the Bay Area, moving to our east. And it'll start to get a lot calmer behind that cold front later tonight, although we still could get some gusty winds into the late night hours. But we will get some clearing later tonight, and it's going to turn very cold overnight. Rainfall totals on top of what we have already received, we expect to range anywhere from 1/4 of an inch to just over 3/4 of an inch between now and about 11 p.m. And we have flood watch in effect until through midnight, actually, for the entire Bay Area. And in some isolated areas of the North Bay right now, it's a flood warning, which means that flooding either is occurring right now or could occur momentarily. Streams, creeks, roadways, all that. And we have a wind advisory in effect for all of the Bay Area except the 3 North Bay counties of Napa, Sonoma, and Marin. That's in effect until 11 p.m. tonight. Winds will be generally the sustained winds out of the south at 25 to 35 miles per hour, but gusts could be as high as 70 miles per hour. Obviously, that increases the possibility of downed trees and power outages. Now, right now we're looking at surface wind gusts up to almost 50 miles per hour at Half Moon Bay. Here in San Francisco, Oakland has gusts up to almost 40 miles per hour. So this will be the pattern for the next several hours. And in the higher elevations, the gusts are even more powerful. Pine Mountain up in Marin County right now has gusts up to 81 miles per hour, which is remarkable. And here's the area covered by that thunderstorm possibility between now and 7 p.m. Basically, the entire Bay Area is within that area covered by the possibility of a thunderstorm. They're not likely to occur, but again, we have to mention that possibility. Winter storm warning remains in effect in the Sierra till 10 o'clock tonight. Another 1 to 2 feet of snow likely to accumulate there by the end of the week. Back to the Bay Area, I mentioned that cold front swinging through tonight behind the low pressure system. Temperatures are going to drop into the mid to upper 30s in many of our inland areas during the overnight hours. Tomorrow's highs under partly to mostly sunny skies, only about 55 to maybe 58 or 59 degrees. So it's going to be a chilly day. And as we look at the AccuWeather 7-day forecast, you see tomorrow we'll have calm weather, although it'll be a bit chilly. But we have another storm coming in on Thursday. That will likely be a level 2 storm, bringing more heavy rain and some more gusty wind on top of all this saturated soil. So we could have problems with flooding and mudsliding and all that right on through the end of the week. The weekend, though, is looking sunny and dry, but chilly.
And Spencer, so today is the worst of it. It looks like over the next week, but you know, big things to keep in mind is power outages can happen, and we're just getting an update that we do have a lot of customers without power, some in San Francisco, the Peninsula, over 3,000 in the East Bay, over 1,000, and in the North Bay, almost 4,000 customers are without power.
That's a large part of the population. We probably will see more power outages going into the evening hours, so the numbers will increase because the weather's only getting more intense right now, and the stormy conditions are reaching a wider area of the Bay Area right now. Earlier today it was mainly a North Bay event and a coastal event, but now going into the evening hours and the evening rush, we're going to see stormy weather across the entire Bay Area.
And we're seeing lots of road closures. Sonoma County, they're saying there are road closures, there are delays and other restrictions on county roads in Sonoma County. So if you can avoid being out there driving, obviously we know people have to pick kids up from school, go to and from work. You do have to go places. Just be careful and definitely don't drive through those big puddles.
Oh, no, try to avoid those puddles. They may look shallow as you're approaching them, but some of them are deep enough to cause your car to stall and even to sort of sweep your car away. So just be really careful driving through these flooded areas.
And Spencer, I know that, you know, after the storm moves through, some of the flooded roadways and areas, they'll be in place for a little while, right?
They will. The water is going to stand and remain for a while before it recedes. And of course, that increases the possibility of potholes and clogged
drains and
drainage areas.
I know, we've been talking all day.
So much, I know.
It's starting to get.
So yeah, I mean the problems, the impacts of this storm are amazing.
Yeah, and it's going to get dark tonight, so it's harder to see. There might be debris in the roadway. Just be careful. I know you're going to be on the air tonight, 3 and 4, and then we have meteorologist Sandhya Patel updating us. And then again, we have crews spread out all throughout the Bay Area covering this storm and the impact of it, which we're seeing all the video and all the reports coming into our newsroom. There's a lot going on out there, so make sure you tune in. That's our update for now.
But very quickly, you mentioned debris in the roadways, which is something we should look out for, but also as these winds become gustier, look out for debris blowing around in the air, small objects. It's time to stay home if you can.
Yeah, if you can, yes. And we'll get a break in all this this evening.
Well, overnight, late this evening, the storminess will subside. It'll turn cold, it'll still be windy, and there'll still be some flooding, but the rain will end probably by between 7 and 9 p.m. for most of the Bay Area.
Okay, that's good. We'll get a break tomorrow, and then here we go again on Thursday. Thank you so much for watching our weather update on the storm. Our next newscast is on at 3 o'clock, so in just a little bit, in 50 minutes, you could keep it right here on the live stream. We'll have an update. You'll have an update on the weather conditions, and we'll be on every newscast this evening, updating you on what you need to know. Thanks so much for watching. We're going to take you back to regular programming.